Something big is happening in Europe. The continent is at a crossroads, and the decisions being made now will shape its future for years to come. The year is 2025, and a new, powerful trend is taking hold across the region. In a dramatic turn, some countries are starting to kick out immigrants, enforcing new rules with determination. This isn't just a small change or a passing phase. It's a major shift in how Europe deals with people coming from other places, signaling a new era in migration policy. For years, many European nations were seen as welcoming, offering hope and opportunity to those seeking a better life. But now, the welcome mat is being pulled away, and the atmosphere is changing fast. Leaders are talking tough, and policies are getting stricter, with new laws and regulations being introduced almost every month. This isn't happening in just one or two countries. It's a wave sweeping across the continent. It's a movement spreading across the continent, sparking debates and protests in cities from east to west. From the Mediterranean in the south to the northernmost borders, governments are rethinking their immigration rules and enforcement. The conversation has changed from "how can we help" to "how can we send them back?" A dramatic reversal of past attitudes. Leaders who support these tough policies are gaining popularity, drawing large crowds and shifting the political landscape. This shift shows a deep change in public mood as people question what kind of society they want to live in. Many people are worried about the economy, security and their way of life, fueling anxiety and uncertainty. These fears are fueling the demand for stricter immigration controls across Europe, and the debate is only getting louder. It's a complex story with many sides, and it's happening right now, shaping the future of Europe before our eyes. Imagine one domino falling and then knocking over the next one. That's what is happening with immigration policies in Europe. When one country decides to get tough, its neighbors start watching. They see a leader gain support by promising to send immigrants home. Soon, leaders in other countries think maybe that could work for us too. This creates a chain reaction. Strict ideas travel from one capital to another. It's like a political trend that everyone wants to follow. Political parties from different European nations are talking to each other. They share strategies and ideas. A policy that seems successful in one country gets copied by another. This creates a powerful network of like-minded leaders. The media plays a big role in this domino effect. When a country announces a new, strict immigration law, it becomes big news. This news travels across borders in an instant. The continent is becoming more divided. The trend is clear. Europe is becoming a much harder place for immigrants to call home. You might be wondering, how did these ideas make their way across the ocean? Where are these tough ideas coming from, and why are they gaining traction now? Former US President Donald Trump has had a big influence on this conversation, shaping it in ways that are now visible across the Atlantic. During his time in office, he talked a lot about building a wall and deporting millions of people, making immigration a central theme of his presidency. His America First slogan resonated with many voters, emphasizing national interests over global cooperation. Now, in 2025, his ideas are finding a new audience in Europe, where similar sentiments are taking root. European leaders on the far right are listening to his words and taking notes, eager to replicate his success. This isn't a one-way street, though. The exchange of ideas is mutual, with influences flowing in both directions. The influence has gone both ways, creating a complex web of political exchange. Before Trump became president, some European far-right parties were already using strong anti-immigrant language, setting the stage for a shared narrative. Trump saw their success and adopted some of their rhetoric for his own campaign, blending it with his own ideas. But now the flow of influence is stronger from the US to Europe, as American political strategies are being adopted overseas. Trump's proposals for a potential second term are being echoed by politicians across Europe who see them as a roadmap to electoral success. His ideas are giving them a blueprint to follow, a guide to navigating the complex political landscape. This Trump effect is making extreme policies seem more normal, shifting the political spectrum. The Trump connection has helped to amplify and legitimize the push for stricter immigration controls in Europe, altering the continent's political climate. Let's look at some real examples. In Italy, the government has taken a very hard line. They have made it much more difficult for rescue ships carrying migrants to dock at Italian ports. The government has also sped up the process for deporting people whose asylum claims are rejected. Another country making big changes is Sweden. A new government has tightened the rules. They have cut benefits for asylum seekers and made it harder for families to be reunited. In France, the debate over immigration has also become much more intense. The government has passed new laws that make it easier to expel foreign nationals who are convicted of crimes. Even in Germany, the mood is shifting. The government is now talking about the need for more large-scale deportations. It's a widespread movement that is reshaping immigration policy across the entire European continent. So why do so many people support these tough new policies? One of the biggest reasons is security. After several high-profile terrorist attacks in Europe, many people are afraid. They worry that open borders make it too easy for dangerous individuals to enter their countries. Another major concern is the economy and jobs. People are worried about finding and keeping good jobs. Some believe that immigrants are taking jobs away from native-born workers. Culture and identity are also at the heart of this debate. Some people feel that their national culture and way of life are under threat. Finally, many supporters of these policies feel that the system is broken and unfair. For them, expelling immigrants who are in the country without permission is simply about enforcing the law and restoring a sense of order and fairness. On the other side of this debate are people who are strongly against these new, strict policies. They believe that kicking out immigrants is cruel and goes against basic human rights. Many immigrants are fleeing war, poverty, or persecution. Opponents of these policies argue that wealthy European countries have a moral duty to help those in need. From an economic perspective, opponents argue that immigrants are actually a huge benefit to their new countries. They say that immigrants often do jobs that native-born workers don't want to do. Diversity is another key argument for the opposition. They believe that immigrants enrich society by bringing new cultures, ideas, and traditions. Finally, many opponents are simply thinking about the human side of the story. They call for policies that treat immigrants with dignity and respect. Behind the political debates and news headlines, there are real people whose lives are being turned upside down. Imagine you are an immigrant who has lived in a European country for years. You have a job. Your children go to school here, and you have friends in your community. This is your home. Then one day you receive a letter saying you have to leave. Your world collapses. This is the reality for thousands of people because of these new policies. The process of deportation is often traumatic. It can involve being detained in centers that feel like prisons. Families are sometimes separated. Parents might be deported while their children are left behind. The emotional and psychological toll is immense. For the immigrants who are expelled, the journey back is often filled with hardship. They may be returned to countries that are unstable or dangerous. The human cost of these policies is measured in broken families and lost hope. The social fabric of the community can be torn apart. When a country starts expelling immigrants, it's like throwing a stone into a pond. The ripples spread out and affect everyone, not just the immigrants themselves. One of the first things to change is the overall mood of society. A climate of suspicion and fear can take hold. This can damage the trust and social cohesion that hold communities together. The economy also feels the ripples. Many sectors rely heavily on immigrant labor. When these workers are forced to leave, it can create major labor shortages. These policies also change a country's reputation on the world stage. A nation that was once seen as open and humane can quickly gain a reputation for being unwelcoming. Finally, these changes have a profound impact on the next generation. Children of immigrants may grow up feeling like they don't fully belong. The ripples from these policies will continue to shape society for many years to come. As we look to the future, the path for immigration in Europe seems to be at a crossroads. The choices made now will have lasting consequences, not just for newcomers, but for everyone living on the continent. The current trend is clear, a move towards stricter controls and more deportations. Many governments are tightening their borders, increasing surveillance and making it harder for people to enter or stay. If this continues, we could see a Europe that is much less diverse and more closed off, with fewer opportunities for cultural exchange and innovation. However, the future is not yet written. There is still time for change, and the direction Europe takes will depend on the choices its people and leaders make. There could be a backlash against these harsh policies. Across the continent, protests and demonstrations are already calling for more humane treatment of immigrants and refugees. As people see the human and economic costs, public opinion might begin to shift. Stories of families separated or businesses struggling without workers could change hearts and minds. A new wave of political leaders could emerge, advocating for a more compassionate approach. These leaders may inspire hope and push for policies that balance security with empathy. They might argue that Europe needs immigrants to keep its economy strong, fill labor shortages, and support aging populations. The outcome will likely depend on several factors, including political will, public sentiment, and the ability to find common ground. Future elections will be crucial. The leaders chosen and the policies they enact will set the tone for years to come. Economic conditions will also play a big role. If economies improve and people feel secure, the anxiety that fuels anti-immigrant sentiment may lessen. A thriving economy can help foster a sense of optimism and openness, making it easier for communities to welcome newcomers. Ultimately, the debate over immigration is about what kind of society people want to live in. It's a question of values, identity, and the future they wish to build together. Do they want a society that prioritizes security above all else, or one that embraces diversity and opportunity? The decisions made today about immigration will shape the identity of Europe for generations to come, leaving a legacy that future citizens will inherit and build upon.